alive, so you can absorb more bullets. And yeah, basically start spacing out your kills more and only target enemies that fire missiles or suicide bullets, of course, because that, if you shoot those, that means more bullets for you to absorb.
Absolutely. And absorbing bullets levels up your ship's power. Because Blazeburn got hit by a missile early, he lost his max power, so now he needs to get back up to max. And he's almost there, and as soon as he is, he will get a golden shield, which stays on for a second longer, and also increases scoring pretty massively.
Yeah, it's kind of our version of a fever mode, like you have in Death Smiles, but it's not like a temporary fever mode, or it's not timed. It's basically for as long as you can keep your chain active, and for as long as you can not die, you keep that golden shield, and you can reactivate it even when your chain dies.
Yeah.
Basically, it's good to stay maximum power. It's very good for your score. Yes, let's hear it. Yes. Yeah. Skipping phases is something we, I don't know. We'll see how Blazeburn feels. If we're going to see that or not. But that also gives you multiplier boosts. So that's another layer to the scoring. APG's voice is pretty low, by the way, it says. Alright.
Yeah, just reacting to the chat a little bit. I don't think you need to change the
now
the
it
settings.
should be perfect right there.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, M. Night is saying the red overlay when in danger mode reminds me of modern FPS damage indicators. That's exactly where I got that from, right? So
yeah, that's exactly the inspiration.
You need to, at all times, you need to know if you're in neutral, in shield, or in danger, right? So we put that in multiple places. Like obviously there's the shield around your ship, but also there's the voice cues. And then for danger, there's the red danger screen, full screen effect.
Yeah.
Where you just basically can't miss it anymore, hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah. Robert is saying great music, by the way. It is great music. Ed made the music, and it is fantastic. I think you can also separately purchase it again. Like it was gone for a while, but now it should be back on. What was that? SoundCloud or Bandcamp? Or
Bandcamp, yeah. SHMUP SCG Clips posted the link to its Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, excellent.
So that's the Ultra Arrange, and then there's a separate release with the original tracks as well. The arranged tracks you'll hear in loops 2 and 3 actually. Oh.
Danger time, danger time, danger time.
Oh!
Excellent. Nice dodge.
This is not the game for micro dodging, but we just saw it. It is possible.
Yeah. Sometimes you can do it. And he got the golden shield kill, so now we're gonna see 2 portals instead of 1. He's heading straight for the lowest portal.
At the end
skipping a loop.
Mind the red background. This means he's gone on a harder route, pretty much. But he got a multiplier boost for his troubles.
And the multiplier boost is not in effect immediately. It's just like his maximum allowed multiplier is being raised, so the scoring potential has been raised.
Yeah, not necessarily the scoring yet, but the potential. Yeah, the ceiling. Raise the scoring ceiling. Raise the roof.
Which game soundtracks, if any, were influences for SHMUP? Question from chat. I don't know. We'd have to ask Ed.
Yeah, we'd have to.
I'm sure he has a ton of influences. He's obviously a huge SHMUP fan.
I would just guessing. I would say Shinji Hoso, Manabu Namiki, those types. You know. The very upbeat type of SHMUP soundtracks with catchy melodies.
That is true. And you can see the action has ramped up quite a bit. That's because the loop was skipped, right? So if you didn't skip a loop and just went 1, 2, 3, this would already be the last loop.
Yep.
And now it's the second loop, and after that we could see the 4th loop, or we could see the 5th loop. Which,
no 5th. No 5th.
Copy the bumpers. No 5th?
No 5th.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can see that Blaze Blue, because now we have a golden and regular bullet counter. He has superseded 700 golden bullets absorbed. That means we're gonna see a boss fight after this stage. Spoilers.
Wasn't it 900 in Krieger mode?
I think Krieger is still just 700.
But in any case, we're gonna go over 900 as well. So
Yeah, over 9,000 maybe even.
that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
The highest golden bullet achievement is for 5,000 anyone.
The reason why we're not complete.
Very tough to get.
Yeah. The reason why we're not completely certain on the numbers is because we've been tweaking these values so much all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's different numbers for different modes. Oh, danger.
So Hauser and M Knight are asking
damn.
about. Oh damn.
Nah.
Oh shit. They got him.
We're good. We're good. Just keep getting those extends. This is just rank control, you know. There is a rank in the game, so
Yeah.
dying actually lowers the rank, which is not bad. Not a bad idea for survival.
Absolutely. And now he's waiting to get the shield back for the kill. Excellent.
Yeah, that's
With
it.
the shield counter. That's so satisfying.
Here
Shield
comes
counter kill is always good. Yeah. So I see a lot of questions about the soundtrack, how we work together with Ed, but I'll get back to you after this boss fight.
Definitely this is under type reference. Or sembres a lot to Cerberus from Cerberus.
Yeah. I mean, how can
Yeah.
you not? How when you're making a horror shooter, like how can you not reference R-Type in any type of way? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Ooh,
That was close.
risky tactics. Yeah.
So we'll see him go down beneath the ship to get rid of some more of the additional enemies.
Mind the massive lasers.
They can help because they'll get rid of the seeking missiles.
Yeah.
And
So
the ship opened up, so it's shoot the core tower.
yeah, shoot the core, and also an interesting thing about this boss fight is that this is the only part in the game that has free scrolling. So you can move back, forth, everywhere. You know.
That is correct.
Yeah. Pretty hectic. I'm getting nervous.
Yeah. So I think Blazeburn is just basically getting some kills so he get back.
Yeah,
to
I think he wants
the
he wants to
extra
get the
side.
EX. Yeah.
Ah.
Alright, so
And he lost the shield unfortunately, so that's a bit of a waste of scoring, but he still got the kill. So.
still got the kill. Yeah. So the trick with these big bosses is to kill them with your shield active, which means your multiplier is active, so you can really get the big points. Not always easy. Once you figure out the boss fights, they're not that hard, but getting to kill them with an active shield, that's trickier.
Yeah. SHMUP SG Clips is saying this boss is underrated for Chimera and Mayo.
Undertuned.
Untuned, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I agree. And we're working on some updates on this boss fights for.
Chimera
different
X
modes.
when cowards.
Yeah. Chimera just melts that boss.
Yeah. But I mean that's also the point of Chimera, right?
Chimera is
you're
supposed to be.
overpowered.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a little bit overpowered. So some questions about the OST. How we worked with Ed was initially we just asked him because we already had some ideas, like we wanted to dabble with game development very early on, like in 2013 or thereabouts, and I was full of hopes and dreams, and I told Ed like, hey, maybe one day we'll make a shoot 'em up, and then I was going to his YouTube page and saying, then I'll definitely ask you for the soundtrack because I love the music that he was making for his Bullet Heaven channel. And then in 2020, I was finally able to make good on that promise. So I got back to him, and we basically asked him to create a couple of tracks for a Gradius like horizontal shooter, and he just banged out some stuff that was really good, like the previous, some of the previous tracks you've already heard. And then we kind of like asked for more tracks along the way or along the course of development, and then he
Hey everyone. Can you guys hear me all right? Let's get a confirmation on the mic check. Is this better? Great, awesome. So yeah, this is Stellar Fury. You guys may have seen this earlier in the Caravan Kumite. This game, I've worked on this game for about a little over 4 years at this point. Myself and the musician who is also in chat, I believe. Yeah, so I'll just go over the game a little bit. I'm going to shill a tiny bit about the features that it has. So the game mechanics, it has kind of the standard, and there's some bugs you'll see. This is still in development, so you see like these key promptings are off. So it kind of has the standard abilities, like a wide regular shot and a focus shot. Then there's the focus attack, which you do focus and then an alt key that has a meter, and you move much slower than focus attack, but you do more damage, and it slows. I'm going to turn the music down slightly. Let's try that. Is that good? Yeah, so you do if you do the double focus, you have a charge for that, and it stops bullets in its path, and then if you release at a certain time, you get a screen clear, and that's key for the scoring mechanic. The scoring mechanic, each bullet that clears will drop a coin that's worth 200 times the combo multiplier. The combo multiplier is you just build that up by killing enemies and not getting hit. And there's like secondary attacks. All the enemies are sealable in the game except for bosses and a very small handful of very large enemies that are not sealable. They'll have the seal indicator. The only ones that don't have that are sealable are popcorn. There's bombs, pretty standard. There's a secondary attack, which doesn't fire if you do a regular shot, will only fire when you do a focus attack. And if you don't fire a focus attack, it builds up a charge, and you can do kind of an alpha strike with it. The game's based on a lot of point blanking and aggressive play. So, building up that secondary attack and getting that DPS in to like insta kill enemies is important. When you kill the enemies, they'll drop these like focus cubes that charge the double focus meter. The double focus meter does charge a bit on its own, but really you want to build it up with these. And the closer you are to the enemy when you kill it, the more you get. And you get like double whatever it is if it's sealed when you kill it. When you get the big juicy screen clears, you'll get points, and on certain point thresholds, wingmen spawn in. There are temporary helpers that go in, they shoot stuff. They also actually spawn in enemies for them to shoot. This is kind of like cannon fodder. But at the higher tiers, there will be the larger enemies. Popcorn don't drop the cubes. The larger enemies that drop cubes, so you can keep that kind of charge going. The higher tiers do have a cooldown, but the cooldown is greatly reduced by collecting excess charge. So your charge meter's full, you get a bunch extra, it'll reduce that timer, so you can keep that cycle going and just kind of keep a wave of destruction going. Iframes, there's lots of ways to get iframes, like bombs. The wingmen give you a bunch of iframes, this chaos, so you can just blow everything up when that happens. You also, when you start executing a double focus, you can get like, it costs like capacitor to start firing it, but you get like a very small amount of iframes. So it's like, you might have like an oh shit moment, about to get hit, you can burn some capacitor to stop the hit. So yeah, that's kind of a breakdown of the mechanics. There's other scoring things here. I break it all down, the math, like you get different things, like there's kind of like a sub. I use rank as a multiplier for the bot, for the enemy kills, kind of like a separate combo meter. The main thing is that screen clear. So that's kind of the breakdown of the game really quickly. I'm just going to spend a few minutes to show some of the features. So I spent a lot of time doing like options. I did have like accessibility, disable scoring. You can screw with stuff, make yourself invincible, whatnot. But everything in the game, configuration-wise, is configurable. So there's obviously a Tate, but then you can turn debris off, set the debris size, the amount, the explosion size, hit flash indicators, player weapon, luminosity. So that's just the general, and then there's background elements. You can disable background elements per type, per level. You can also set saturation, so you can go all the way down the grayscale, or you can like dim it all the way down. You can just do no backgrounds and play everything. Just play the whole game on a black background. Turn off all the explosions. Literally just black, and the enemies disappear. It'll look like shit, but if that's how you want to play, the options are there for you. Bullets are also configurable. You can change the color of bullet. There's like type 1 and type 2. Type 1 are like static patterns. Type 2 are homing patterns, or aim shots. I do occasionally use, like I have 2 overlaying patterns. I'll use a type 2 shot for those if there's like a faster one. So you can change the color here. It's kind of like the overall color, but then you can override individual levels with different colors. You can change like the glow around it. You can change how it's blinking. You can screw with that. And there's also different styles too. So you can change the styles. UI, yeah, you can disable UI elements if you want. Yeah, so it's been I've been working on this since August 2019. So that's a little over 4 years at this point in time. Yeah, it actually started out, I didn't really know a whole lot about shmups. And yeah, it was like, basically it was pretty Euro when I started, but then I kind of graduated to like arcade shmups, and I was like, I think I just want to focus on making just like a classic arcade shmup, and I'm like, what makes a good classic arcade shmup? And I think this was like in 2020, and I like started researching that, and I found Dodonpachi, and I'm like, I really like the way this plays. And so I just started with me just ripping off Dodonpachi, and so that's where I started with like focus and standard shot, because I really liked the way that felt, and keeping like the buttons down more or less. There is a proverbial fuck ton of enemies in the game. I spent way too much time drawing them. There's 360 currently. I'm still adding some more for the harder variants. Yeah, that's that. So the music, I said the musician is on. I'm just gonna I'm gonna do all this now. I'm gonna front load this because when I play, I am not a pro streamer, so I'm just not gonna be able to handle trying to play my game and keep up with chat and everything. So I'm just gonna do some of this. I'm gonna front load some of this information / shilling. So yeah, this is the musician that worked on the game. He's in the chat. We have a few guest musicians in here. We have a few, I think 4 guitar solos in it, from different musicians that Gene knows. I think 3 different guitars, 4 solos. Yeah, so 11, 11, 11. He plays an 11-string bass guitar. That's the musician. So I'm just gonna get going because I think there is a time limit. There's a caravan mode, which I demoed earlier. A boss rush practice mode. You can practice any section of any level. You can select options like just go restart the sequence, continue the level. 3 difficulty levels. I'm gonna play on veteran, which is kind of what I designed around, and then I toned it down for normal, and then dialed it up for elite, and special is basically elite with no extends or shields or anything. And I haven't really added much more to that. So I'm gonna play on veteran. No, this is practice mode. Let's do arcade. There's 8 levels total. Arcade mode does 5, and you select A, between 2 different options. The first and the last are the same, but 2, 3, and 4 you can select different options. I'll start with 2A. This is select secondary. I tend to favor torpedo. There's 10 different ships in the game. I'm just starting with the basic one. They're all knockable by I think no 1 credit clearing individual level. So you get to level 3 on a single credit. you can unlock that on different ships. You actually get a substantial amount of points from excess charge too, so try to make it not like if it's clears that aren't like a super juicy cancel, it might not be the best way to use it. But yeah, this is where the wingmen come in. You get iframes, these guys come in, and it's just explosions. But see, I built that charge back up, and I can go in again. So here's the wingman again, a little smaller tier that time. It's a little chaos. Like, I don't spawn those enemies in with the boss, but those ones came in right before the boss. Decimated. It's like really interesting designing these because I like I said, I didn't start off like super good at shmups. I'm still not super good at shmups. But this one's colorful. So yeah, I didn't start out super good at shmups, and so like, especially these earlier levels, they went through tons of revisions because I'll be like, oh, I'll design it, this is pretty good, and then I keep playing it, and I'm like, this is too fucking easy, and just keep ramping it up. So I'm like, part of me is nervous. I'm like, is it this like dev memo blindness, and is this, I don't know, but I remember before things being a challenge, now they're super easy. Serious? No. Five seconds of chat here. Yeah, like the first DOS Maku. That's the new term now. Yeah. DOS Maku. It's gonna start like invading like the PC gaming universe. Just like show up at Realms Deep. Be like, it's a 2D boomer shooter. Let's go. Yeah. But thanks for all the compliments, guys. I'm just gonna continue this run. So yeah, this is where you can have two different options. So this one's in the public demo. I'm going to be more interesting and play one that isn't in the public demo. I tend to try to make recovery pretty easy in this. Like the charge builds up pretty quickly for the double focus. You don't really, there's not really much by way of power-ups. The damage does go up marginally each time you execute the screen clear. That's about it in terms of power-ups that you set on deck. Really, that's not necessary. That's one of those things where like maybe you could build up a lot of DPS over the level and then like have an easier time with the boss fight. Just trying to kind of counteract like, oh, I can do more screen clears versus just focus on the big juicy ones, that maybe there's an advantage to doing more, even though they're not necessarily the most optimal point-wise. Basically, just like, over time, I just like throw in more stuff. I try to keep it all related to like the core mechanics, but just trying to make it dynamic. So there's like a choice. Like the combo doesn't reset when you do a cancel, so you can keep building it up. So this level actually is technically the oldest level in the game that looks anything like it did when I first built it. Like I probably find some old recordings from it back like in like early 2021. It's like, oh, that's this level, and like I can see that enemy is still there. There is like those little point items that fall off the bosses. There is like a chain for that. Like the more you get without dying, the points you get from them go up and up. There are a fair bit of extends in the game. Each level has an extend you get. There's like a certain enemy you can kill that shows up briefly, kind of exits quickly, that you can kill, drops an extend. I also give extend via points. Kind of like went up like 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, but I think I'm going to change it because the scoring is pretty even per level. So it's like the way if you know how to score, you get like half or more of those score extends in the game in the first level, and then the last like 2 are like through the rest of the game. So I want to leave more spaced out. seems to also drop at every level. There's 3 medals off those guys. I think the bosses, I do like a scoring system where it's like the factorial of all bosses killed without dying. It's really just like another chaining system. Just trying to use fancy math equations, really. Like, so talking about the bosses, so each boss has a unique soundtrack. We don't just use the same boss track for each boss. Not only that, there are, depending on your rank, you'll get a different boss. So I think there's a total of 25 unique bosses in the game. That much? No, there's 25 tracks. I think what is it? 15 bosses in the game, each with a unique soundtrack. Oh no, I pressed start. This is a bug. Hang on 1 second, guys. I gotta restart the game. I'm just gonna start at the level. I like literally just noticed that bug when I was like after the caravan. And I'm like, oh, if you hit start and pause it on that screen, it'll like basically defocus and you can't select the next phase. And I'm like, hope I don't do that in the stream. And there it is. So I'm just gonna go. I was gonna do that. So technically that ended the 1cc run, but we're just gonna go through the levels. Yeah, there's a rank-based boss and music. You also get different mid-bosses too, depending on the rank. You'll see on the side there's rank and average rank. So I use the boss spawning on the average rank. I just like pull it every, I don't remember how often. And that's used for the boss and the boss spawns. The higher the rank is in the game, it's used as kind of a multiplier for like enemy scores, but also to use black enemies to spawn in. Those are the elite variants of the regular enemies. They just like fire an extra shot. That's it here. Figured every shmup has to have a giant kink in it somewhere. No charge for this. All those wasted all my charge cheesing my way through that mid boss. So there, I do have shields in this that you can absorb a hit. Depending on the difficulty, you can accrue more. So on normal, you can accrue 3. On veteran, you can do 2. Your elite, you can accrue 1, and you don't get any in special. the drops only ever give you one. That's one of those guys that was non-sealable. There's like 2 of those in the level. On a normal difficulty, you can kind of sit back and just fire standard shot more and play more casually. But I really designed this to be something that you don't. If everything's getting to fire off its shots, you're doing it wrong. You gotta like take stuff out before you even get to shoot. You get singed by that fire there, man. I'm gonna cancel for this? No, I don't. Yeah, that's a bug right here. Still shooting at me. Yeah, Gene, the musician, like pushing me to do the sandworm. I was like doing like this desert level, and I was like, "You gotta have a sandworm," and I'm like, "I think you're right." And he pushed me to do like those enemies, like we call them like the sandworm cultists. So like worshiping priests on the sand barge. It's like all Gene pushing me to do that. So this level is kind of funny. There is those purple and teal crystals in the background, which are very similar to the colors we use for bullets. But I drew them, and then my wife says, "Oh, I like the pretty crystals," so now they have to be in the game, and I have to make it work. I don't really penalize using bombs. It really does like bomb out of stuff if you have it. The bomb resets when you die though, so like kind of forces you to use them. You do get a pretty substantial point bonus for collecting excess bombs. So you get some point incentive to like not firing bombs, but I don't decentivize it. I had to charge. That wasn't a great clear. Yeah, that's kind of that track is kind of the I don't know, the chillest tracks in the game. This track has another guitar solo in it, and so does the final boss theme. This level's probably the most jank, honestly, at this point. I've not refined it as much as I have the others. Get some dad SHMUP bullets in here. Just a few. Just for that extra spice, you know? The ultra fast bullets you can barely see. It's like some raiding shit. Soul Crest is a Stellar Fury clone. I'm sure Platinum Games is just like super following my shit. Basically a celebrity death. Yeah, Hideo Kojima quit Platinum Games to come work at Fi Games, but you didn't hear that from me. I'm not gonna just killing time here because I'm like want to get the boss in a certain point in the music. I might do something else here. This boss is like a little bit inspired by Sinistar. Pattern. I gotta like adjust the sound levels because you can't hear them too well, but like we like added some like menacing like vocals. Yeah, I'm credit feeding this at a certain point. Like, I'm not been able to clear this boss. I also haven't finished him, so there's that. I also have boss anxiety. Like, I'll get like through like Dark Souls games and I'll get to the final boss and I'm like, no, too much anxiety, I can't do it. Am I at time, by the way? I don't remember. Okay. So you might miss the solo for this because I think I need to give him more HP. Oh, it's just starting. Just missed it. Gene, I'm sorry, we missed the solo. We decided to do some like a cringy synthwave. So yeah, that's it. I think it's going to freeze at a black screen here because I haven't told it to do anything after this. What is the time like? Schedule 2:50. Oh, well, shit. I got 10 minutes to kill. It's not me singing here. So I am going to maybe I'll show off the like ultra hard shit. Ultra hard for me. I don't know, maybe some super player can go through and straight because it's frozen. No, I can actually hit enter and it goes to high score. That's all. Not really frozen. Yeah, so I guess what I'm gonna do. Oh, you want to hear some more stories? All right, so yeah, I guess that's good. So yeah, so like I kind of touched on it before. So I started out, I wanted to make, like, I've tried to do game development back in like the Stone Ages. I started to do like game development in like high school, which I'm telling you is the Stone Ages. I'm like pushing 40, so that was like Visual Basic 6 game coding, and maybe I'll try to do this while I talk about this. I'm gonna do VB6. Yeah, that's where I started coding, and so I tried to do game development like back then. This is like before Unity, and I like started to do stuff like through the 2010s or the 2000s. Yeah, well, it's when you have devs that like don't know a time before, like just like, oh, you just go download an engine and have all these tools, like, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm making like an application on, you know, a game with nothing. So yeah, but yeah, so I always wanted to make a game, getting older, like gonna start a family, and I was like, I gotta do this game development stuff. I'm going to show off some of these other levels that aren't in the demo that I didn't do. So let's do 3B. And I wanted to just make it good. And I felt like a shmup is something I could do. Just because, like, I feel like I can draw the spaceships, the art I felt like I can do. I'm not a great animator. So, you know, you're doing a lot of still spaceships a lot of the time. Some minimal animations. I mean, you can animate. Yeah. Oh, I still don't, so, I never really coded in any, like, real, like, low-level coding languages. But yeah, so I felt like a shmup is something I can, I'm just gonna keep restarting this. I felt like a shmup is something I could do. I had the capability of doing. I didn't really know game development. I have done coding before, but mostly like I did like system engineering work for 15 years. So I've done like some scripting, and like I know how to code, and there's some stuff I did like forever ago. So I had to learn game coding, and I don't want to say shmups are easy, but they're easy to start, because you can get like a real basic shmup working in like minutes even. And there's like so many resources. They're all going to have things like, oh, here's the inertia movement, and that's how Stellar Theory started. I didn't like know better, but that's just kind of like when you like look up how to make a shoot 'em up. It's like all in the like physics movement in like Unity. So yeah, it started out pre-Euro. I was actually like gonna have like, I was gonna have like inventory, and you're gonna like unlock different ships and like buy things from the store, like all the Euro shmup shit. And I'm like, I don't want to design the UI for that. Like, it's just like I don't want to do this. I'm like, let's just make an arcade shmup. I'm gonna say just make an arcade shmup. And then I decided, like, what does it make? What makes a good arcade shmup? And that's kind of put me down the rabbit hole of like researching, you know, good shoot 'em ups, and got me down in the path. I didn't really post anything on the internet until like 2021. By that time, I was already like beginning that journey. Immersion was already gone. The shop stuff was already gone, and I was already just like, I'm just trying to make a good arcade shoot 'em up. That's like you like look up tutorial, you're gonna find like 15 of them, and they're all inertia movement. There's also like in Unity, there's like get axis versus get axis raw, and like get axis will have some like automatic smoothing built in, and so you got to do get axis raw just to get like the raw input. And that's not, you're not going to find any, in any of those stupid YouTube videos, you're not going to see that stuff. You have to dig into the documentation. What am I, like, confessing my SHMUP roots here? It's like, unfollow. What's this Kusege? Yeah. I mean, it's just like a learning journey for me. Like, people always, I've heard, no, I don't say people always say, but I've heard several people say that, like, my art reminds, like, I think people say Dofmaku because it reminds me of, like, Tyrion or Raptor. And I definitely played those games. I wasn't, like, going in, I'm like, I'm going to make art like these games. This is just, like, my art style. But I did, like, grow up from DOS games, so probably just crept in to my sense of aesthetics. Yeah, so before I joined Discord, I was already, like, I want to make a good... I don't know if I was fully, like, I'm making a bullet hell game yet. But I was definitely, like, already Inertia was already gone, because I'm, like, literally I was like, what does Dodonpachi do? Like, I should have had those bracelets, like, WWJD, but what does DDP do? Like, our Lord and Savior Dodonpachi. And so, and it's like, oh, there's no, it's just like exactly what you press. There's no inertia or drift or smoothing or anything. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And at first it felt kind of unnatural, but I'm like, the animation does the work. If you do the bank animations, it'll do the work of making it not feel stiff. And like, you don't notice when you're playing. I also started when like I was like playing it and it just felt laborious. Like just trying to like dodge from bullets when the drift is going, and it's just like it didn't feel good. Well, about that time, I think. You got time, right? 1:20? Calendar here. Wait, yeah. 2 minutes. There it is. I'm just gonna let's see if I can. Am I rating Actane? Is that what I'm doing here? Pretty sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the raid now. Let's go. Invalid username. Uh-oh. It's not just Actane? Oh, is it More Salty 7? No, that's someone else. Someone help the old man here. Who am I rating? I thought it was Actane. I thought I just typed Actane. Desmaku. No. Yeah, salt shell. Actane. Oh, you just add just the name, not the at. Okay. Boom. Here we go.